Finally! Oh, that's satisfying. I should have taken that one off before I took the shock off, eh? You know what I reckon? Take your bike to the shop. Hello. Old bloke here. Well, it's been a long time since I made a video, and there's a good reason for that. As you can see from all this stuff in front of me, my bike hasn't been working. So, I've bought most of the parts I need. There's a few bits and bobs left, but the biggest job I've got to do to get it back up and running is replace all the frame bearings. Now, there's no information really about replacing the entire frame bearings for a Levo Gen 2, so I'm going to try and capture as much information as I can for you if you're thinking about doing it for yourself. Now, there is a couple of tools that I bought, because usually if I'm doing bearings I'll just use a length of studding and a couple of sockets, you know, in the usual way, but some of the bearings on the Levo Gen 2 are blind, so I bought some blind pullers and I bought a really nice posh set of bearing drifts. So hopefully that will make the job easier. I've also got a few other things just to help, because I've been having trouble with tyre valves leaking, or it's not the tape. I've done the tape and I've redone the tape and so on, and I'm pretty sure it's the valve, so I bought myself some nice Ruster valves. Sam's bike's going to get an upgrade with some purple Muppet V2 valves. I've gone for these again. Now these CL brake pads, and thanks to the guys at Berkshire Bikes, they recommended them. I've used them once and they're flipping awesome. Then I went over back to using Uber Bike e-bike specific brake pads. So the Uber Bike ones are okay. But for the most part, unless you use the white ones, I can't remember what they're called, but they've got a white backing plate, they're probably the best that I've tried. But the rest are really noisy. Often don't like the wet, because I know I live in Wales, so that's no good. And I've had a few problems with them in other ways, but I won't get into that. Needless to say, I've probably bought my last set. So first things first, I get the bike in the stand and get started on getting all the bits off it, taking the shocks off, etc, etc. I may well replace the headset bearings while I've got it all in bits, and I'm almost certainly going to change the tyres, both tyres. Big Betty for the rear, and I've got an old Magic Mary I'm going to put on the front. Should last me the rest of this winter, and then we get another one. Right, going to get at it. I should have taken that one off before I took the shock off, eh? Right, I managed to drop one of these little spacer doodahs down there. I'll have to get that out when I take this off. Now, time to get these off. Right, let's start by getting the bearings out of this, I don't know what it's called. It's a suspension link. So, I want to push this one out here. I've already actually pushed that one out, it was so easy, it was ridiculous. So I grabbed the right size little drift here, gone through. So it feels about going up against that. And there you go, it's out all the way like that. There it is, there's the bearing just hanging in the middle there. So that was about as easy as it's ever going to get, I think. Lovely set of drifts. It was about 30 odd quid off eBay. There's the other one. I think if that was much harder, I would support this in some way, but that came out so easy I barely had to put any pressure on it. So here we've got a couple of bearings, and now I'm going to have to go, ooh, when you run them, they feel bad. So these are 3 years old. Mine's a 2020 Gen 2 comp aluminium. Absolutely love it. Although I would like a Pole. If anyone wants to donate a Pole Voima this way, I gratefully accept it. So, if I get my glasses, make sure I've got the right bearings. Right, I'm back with another brew and some calipers. And now I'm going to check. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty straightforward then. That's those two. Get some grease. Right, first thing, clean this. This is IPA that I've put in some old used window cleaning stuff bottle or something like that. I buy my IPA 5 litres at a time off eBay because I use it for a lot of other things. It was only about a tenner for 5 litres last time I bought it, so don't get ripped off with the stuff that bike brands will sell you for loads of money. It's the same stuff. Just clean those, give it a bit of grease, ease the bearing in. And often these bearings have got a little chamfer on one edge, and that's usually the edge I put in first. Hard to tell, they're so small, but I think you'll go in that way. Right, after a lot of faffing about, I have found the combi that works. So you get your correct spacer, your bush that fits into your bearing there, a spacer that fits flat on that surface. Run them up. Oh, that's satisfying. And that's done. Run that off of there, spacer off. Very satisfying that. Right, I'm not going to lie, that was pretty scary. So, on this junction here, where this pivot here, where the seat and the chainstays meet, this bolt was stuck to the bearing. So what happened, as I turned it, the bearing would move and then it wouldn't come out, and then it looked like it had shredded the aluminium. And I started to wonder what I'd done wrong. In the end, I had to get a bar all the way through from this side and knock it out, dislodge it from the bearing. I used loads of WD-40 and other things like that, but that was scary. That's remedied, that's all cleaned back up, no problems, the bolt goes back fine. So, let's continue. Right, so getting onto this seat stay, the bearings are shafted, you can really feel it. They are raunchy, one of them stuck onto the bolt that goes through. So in here there's two bearings, and so yeah, like I say, in here there's two bearings, and if you get a pick you can feel the gap in them, in the middle there. Now what I'm hoping is these bearing pullers that I've bought, these blind bearing pullers, will go in there. You kind of feel it locate itself there. There's like a little void in the middle, and then crank it up, see if we can get it off. I think I'm gonna need some spanners for this. Looks like it's in place, but then when you put the slide hammer on, it don't feel right. Must be doing something wrong here. This ain't shifting. You can feel it locating exactly where you want it. Here it comes. Finally! Good Lord. That did not want to come out. And there we are. It did manage to get hold of it and pull it out. I think before I take the rest of that one out, the rest of that side, I'll do the blind bearing pull on this side, because that sucked. I've got a grip on it with that little doodah, and then out it comes.
Yeah, that flew out as well.
Another one out. And that's our last bearing out of the chain stay, seat stay. Excellent. Let's get get these last bearings in here, and I think there's only 2 more to do there, and that's the, I don't know what you call the swing arm pivot, I suppose. Just to attach to the bike right now. Now it's tempting to press these both in at the same time from different sides, but there's a spacer that goes in the middle, and if that don't line up properly I wouldn't know, so I'm not going to take any chances. I am going to press one in and then the other with the spacer in place. Lovely. They don't feel good. This one feels seized. Dead easy. There we are, just tap him out. Oh, he's seized solid. That does not move. Now, a while back, I done a jump on the bike and it made a horrible cracking noise, and I think this might be part of the reason why. Cool. What a pain. That's fine, because I was going to replace the front chainring, so that had to come off anyway. Just didn't expect to have to take it off doing that. Oh, it still doesn't go. Oh, what a pain. Okay, give in, I'll do something else. What am I going to do? This ain't going to work either, because it's this that's in the way. I need a spacer. 2 spacers. I could have sworn I got this off last time like this. And I did. My new chainring doesn't look the same. It's got really spiky ends to it, and this one's got very square ends. smooth. Right, apart from talking up, that's these bearings done. And you know what I reckon? Take your bike to the shop. Morning. It's the next day, and I've had time to think about the replacement frame bearing day I had yesterday. So that took me 4.5 hours. It did require special tools, presses, which you could use sockets and stud for, and I don't think you could do it without the blind bearing puller. That was essential on the where the chain stay meets the seat stay. That was essential, and the bearing pivot above the motor. Now I've still got to replace the tyres, the rim tape, the sealant, the cassette, the chain. I've already done the front chain with, the brake pads, and bleed the brakes. And obviously I'm just going to put some new valves on because they were rubbish, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to seal that. But if I bang a video together and try and get the most part of the frame bearing replacement done, because I don't think there's much information out there about replacing frame bearings on a Levo Gen 2, especially the blind ones at the back. They were a dog. And I think I mentioned it in the video yesterday, but when I wound out the non-drive side bolt, the bearing stuck to the bolt, and you could hear it cracking in the frame as it was trying to turn in the frame. And then I had a dog of a job getting that out, and I thought that I had stripped the thread out of the frame, and that really worried me. As it turned out, I hadn't. It was just stuff. I don't know. I've inspected it fully and it's absolutely fine. Everything's back together, and I'm going to crack on with the rest of the work that I've got to do. Cheers. Right, next up, no, it's not cleaning. Next up, brakes. I've done my tyres. I pumped them up an hour ago and they are still solid, and that's without any sealant in. So happy days, they are done. That was quite exhausting actually. Tubeless never seems to want to go up too easily. So time to renew the brake fluid, pump them all up, get some new pads in, give them a good bleed. Right, let's crack on with it. Right, now we're having trouble. Now this is going to be really difficult to see, but let me turn this off. This cassette has individual little doodahs, sprockets that is, which have moved independently of the main block and started cutting into the free hub. Now what I'm having to do is bear against it like that, and then hold the free hub while I turn this in order to get these off. It's a right pain, and I think this free hub, its days are numbered. However, I'm not going to replace it now. I've just spent a ton of money. It'll happen on the next drivetrain change. Wow, I managed to get it off, the whole lot. As you can see, that ain't too clever. You can feel the little burrs. I think next time that's probably not going to come off with the cassette, so I shall pull the whole thing out. The spacer is still at the back, look. Now, that spacer behind the cassette did die a little while back, and I could hear all of the sprockets rattling independently, which is why I ended up checking it out. But that's obviously taken its toll on this free hub, and it will need sorting out.